Hello, very warm welcome. Let's talk about track limits, a topic I absolutely hate when it comes to Formula One. This should be simple, sharp, easy. You go outside, that's it. Lap time deleted. I mean, this is nonsense, utter nonsense. We've just seen Mercedes v Red Bull, we've just seen Max v Lewis. What every F1 fan wants to see. Yet we're talking about track limits. It's absolutely disgraceful. I absolutely hate this topic with a passion. David Croft, who's a commentator, he literally gets aroused by this topic. I absolutely hate talking about track limits. For me, you've got to have two wheels on the track at all times. Big controversy at Bahrain as Lewis Hamilton went wide on more than one occasion at turn 4. Now, they were actually doing it on Friday, but it got stamped out for Saturday. And we never saw it in qualifying or practice 3, but we started seeing it a lot in the race. And of course, Hamilton seems to get singled out for doing it when others did it as well. And then Max went for the overtake round the outside at turn 4, and he went all four wheels off. And he had to give the place back. It would have been a mockery if he won the race going off the track, because I remember he got punished in USA for it, and I actually thought it was bullshit at the time, because it was so entertaining. Last lap on Kimi Raikkonen at Circuit of the Americas. But I mean, it's a slam dunk. But this track limits, why are we talking about track limits? We finally got what we want to see in Formula 1. Mercedes v Red Bull, two teams fighting it out at the front. We finally get to see Hamilton v Max. And yet we're talking about track limits. It's nonsense. It should be straightforward. I don't see why we need to talk about it. I mean, you keep two wheels on the track at all times, and if you don't, your lap time's deleted. I've just watched, I recorded the MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3. It's very simple in that. They have the AstroTurf at the side, and if you go out, you get 3 chances. You do it more than 3 times, you get a penalty. And it's that simple. It's not difficult. And it's really quite sad that track limits gets this much attention when we should be talking about finally we get to see what we want to see in Formula 1, a real title fight. And what a great race it was yesterday. But no, instead, it's overshadowed by track limits and utter bollocks talk. But Michael Masi, the race director, he's got to stand firm on this. Now we will see it again. Circuit of the Americas, I hate that track with a passion because of track limits. There's at least 3 corners where you just go completely off the track. What is the point in having a racetrack if you're just going to exceed and go off all 4 wheels? We might as well go around the short version of Bahrain if we're just going to make these track limits up as we go along. And I think the drivers get too much say in it. For me, it should be down to the race director. Very strange. It seems like they didn't have turn 4 track limits on Friday, then they policed it for Saturday, and then Sunday it was like, oh, do what you want. Very strange, very strange. Yeah, and turn 4, fantastic move by Lando Norris on the first lap, and stayed in the boundaries of the track, but yeah, where do I stand on this? I think it's bullshit. But to signal out Hamilton only for doing it is wrong. That is wrong at the highest level. Why are we singling out one driver when many drivers have done it? I don't agree with that whatsoever. How are you singling out one driver when it's multiple drivers? Of course, he's fighting for the win. Max overtook him. Max was quicker. Hamilton held him off. It was great racing, but yeah, I'm not happy we're talking about track limits when we should be talking about a great race between two great drivers. But yeah, it's going to occur at more tracks, and we all know it, like Circuit of the Americas. Imola could be another one. And yeah, it's just nonsense, utter nonsense. Michael Masi insists track limit rules didn't change mid-race despite Hamilton-Max controversy in Bahrain. The policing of the track limits at Turn 4 was a hot topic through the Bahrain GP. But despite some question marks over certain drivers interpreted the rules, FIA race director Michael Masi insisted his guidance had been clear throughout. I don't know. I don't think they have been clear. I think the drivers get too much say on the matter. That's what I genuinely think. Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that. The line that are deemed illegal for practice and qualifying, but according to race director notes, wouldn't be monitored during the Grand Prix. But speaking after the race, Masi explained why the stewards ended up threatening Hamilton with a black and white flag. Lewis Hamilton's race engineer, Pete Bonington, came on the radio and told Lewis to stop going wide at turn 4. And Lewis was like, well, I've been doing it all race, so why am I getting a warning now? So there's big confusion with turn 4. I don't understand it. Should be very clear, straightforward. And like I say, it's that simple. I mean, we've been going 7 minutes, coming up to 7 minutes. It's literally a 2-second video, this. Keep two wheels on the track at all time. Simple. With regard to the tolerance given with people running outside track limits during the race, Masi said, it was mentioned very clear in the driver's briefing meeting, and the notes would be not monitored with regard to setting the lap time, so to speak. Nothing changed at all during the race. We had two people that were looking in that area consistently. Masi also responded to questions why Max had passed Hamilton. Well, that's a slam dunk penalty. I mean, it just is. It's nonsense. If Max had kept the lead, and he would have got a penalty anyway, so. If an overtake takes place with a car off the track and gains an advantage, you have to give a penalty. And Max would have received a penalty, but he did the right thing. But for me, he did it in the wrong situation. He probably should have done it sneakily. He should have let him back pass down the straight or something, so he could have slipstreamed him back. But yeah, this gets way too much publicity. I'm a Formula 1 fan. Why are we talking about track limits when we've got what we want as F1 fans? We've actually got competition at the front. Yesterday we saw a great race between two great drivers, and instead we talk about track limits. Track limits is very simple for me. Keep two wheels on the track at all times. But you know we're going to be talking about it at other circuits. I mean, I'll go down the calendar and trying to think off the top of my head. Circuit of the Americas is one. That is the big standout one. You won't be doing it at Monaco, otherwise you'll be in the wall. Imola. Now, there is one at the hairpin at Imola where you can exceed. Portugal. Portimao. Trying to think. Oh, yeah. After turn 1 at Portimao. Lot of runoff. Spain. Azerbaijan. Canada. Paul Ricard. Bloody hell, that's track limits galore, that track. Bloody awful circuit. Silverstone, Hungary. Monza. Monza's one at Parabolica that we usually see. United States, 2 or 3 areas on that circuit. Yeah. So there we have it. A video covered. Shit. I've just like snapped the back of my phone cover. Absolutely fantastic. The F1 videos have been doing amazing. We covered the Bahrain Grand Prix at the weekend and it was crazy. I brought a couple of new features. Looking at the track in depth, reacting to practice. It did amazing. Thanks for the support. And then we did race, reaction, driver ratings. And now we are looking at track limits. I'm absolutely sickened that I have to make a 10-minute video regarding track limits. It's very simple, very easy, and Masi has to stamp his authority down as the race director. He's got to get control of the situation because cars going off the track is disgraceful. And it's a mockery to the sport when they're just going four wheels off the track all the time. And yeah, this is meant to be the pinnacle of motorsport. You cannot have cars going wide. We've covered this enough. I mean, 11 minutes covering this shit topic when we should be talking about a great race between Mercedes, Red Bull, Max, Hamilton, and it gets overlooked due to track limits. And Masi has to stamp his authority down on the situation. Don't let the drivers take control. You take control as the race director. That's my thoughts on the matter. Comment down below. We'll always reply. And yeah, get involved if you are new. And yeah, it's always been my motto to reply to each and every person. So yeah. Fucking track limits. Fucking hate this topic. Absolutely hate this topic. Adios.